Hey team, Mr. Hanna here, and today we're going to take a look at GIMP and using the path tool. In Photoshop it we call the pen tool. And on my desktop here I have everything that we have in our folder in Google Drive for you guys to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and open GIMP up, and if I go on down to open and I am on the desktop there, you can see that I have that original cartoon yourself template, and then I have a bunch of stars, and I'm going to open up this first star here. It's pretty simple. It is also low resolution. I downloaded it from the internet. You can kind of see it's kind of pixelated if I zoom in. And so the first thing I'm going to recommend that you always do is go to File, New, and then go to those templates up there and open up a much larger HD version of a backdrop or a background. And so I'm going to choose this one right here. It's a really big high definition 4K like format, like what you would see on a TV screen. I'm going to go back to this original star image, put a selection box around it. I'm going to hit Control C. Control C will copy that star, come back over here to the template that I had and paste it. And after I've pasted the image, I have to come down here to this green thing and click it down, like paste down the image that I just selected. I can also go to this move tool over here and I can move the star around, kind of position it where I want. Or I can make the star much bigger. If I come over here to this enlarge tool or minimize tool, I can just drag the corner there, make it a little bit bigger, go back to the move tool, reposition the star, and now I have it where I want it to go. When using the paths tool, the first thing we want to do is create a new layer, and we're going to call this new layer outline. So I highlight this, I label it, always label it, hit OK, and now you can see I have a new layer above it called outline. This is the paths tool. I can select it, and as I create different points, so long as I just click, 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 and I can go to edit and stroke my path down there at the bottom, and I can change the size of my path. Right now it's set kind of smaller, hit stroke. And if I click on a different tool, I can see the path that I just stroked, and that's at like a few pixels wide. And I can stroke another path here. Right click, go to edit, stroke path. It's going to say what size do you want it to be. I'm going to make my path a little bit bigger now, so you can see the difference in the different paths. So that's a little bit thicker. I'm going to go to do it again. Go to the paths tool and right click and edit and stroke path, and we'll make it even thicker so you can kind of get an idea where it's at. And depending on how big or small your image is how big or small those pixels are going to be. So that's pretty thick, bold line. Let's do one more. And this time I'm going to change the color. It's been black, so I'm going to switch the color to, say, red, and I'm going to hit OK. And if I go to edit, right click, edit, stroke path, and keep it that same dimension, you can see that it's now a red path. So you can change the color of the path whatever you want. It's always going to be the color that you have selected over there on the left. So let's go back to our paths tool, and now I'm going to zoom in on the star. Remember, to zoom in you hold in Command and you can scroll with the mouse, and I'm just going to go around to all these points, and doing straight lines with the path tool is super easy. You just click, 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 and if you were to make a mistake, like, don't really like that right there, so I'm going to say Edit Undo, Command Z, and just go back and redo that point. So it's not a big deal if you put the point down, it's not where you want. It's not a big deal. Once you get to the very top to connect that last point, you hold in the Command button and you click it, or Control button if you're on a PC, and that will link it all up. I go to edit, right click, edit, stroke path, and if you saw right there, it just stroked the path in red, and I don't want it to be red, right? So I'm going to come over here to red, switch it back down to black. I'm going to hit OK, and now when I right click, edit, and go to stroke path and hit stroke, it's going to be in black, and it's hard to see, so I can turn off that original layer that's all filled in. So I'm going to turn off that layer, and you can see that I have a really nice star. I'm going to move off the paths tool so those lines go away, and there's my star, and I'm just turning on and off, toggling on and off that original image. But that looks like a really clean outline of the star that I was trying to go for. Now I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to call this color of star, or just color, and hit OK. And every time you create a new color, every time you are trying to create another color, you need to do another layer as well. So if I turn everything off, that's the outline there. I want to be on that outline layer. I'm going to go up here to the fuzzy select tool is what it's called. In Photoshop, it's called the magic wand tool. If I click inside the box, it highlights everything inside the star there. If I click inside the star, it highlights everything inside the star. You can kind of see that. If I click outside the star, it highlights everything outside the star. I want to highlight everything inside the star. Keeping in mind I'm on the outline tool. Okay, so outline tool selected. Inside the star selected, I'm going to change the color to blue because I like the color blue, and that's the color I want my star to be. If I go to the paintbrush here and make my paintbrush size maybe just a little bit bigger, because everything in the star is selected, as I paintbrush over it, even if I go outside of the lines, it's only going to color what's inside the lines. Okay, this is why it's really important when you're outlining with the path tool, you have to connect everything. So everything has to come all the way around full circle, if you will. There's no gaps in the star. And when you do that and you use the fuzzy select tool, it selects everything inside it, and then I can color it all nice like that. So that's pretty cool. I can have my color of my star layer. I can have my outline layer. I can turn off now completely the original star image. No need for that low resolution image anymore because I'm making a much higher resolution, better quality image that way. And then so long as I have the inside of the star selected, I can go through and color different things, but it's all on that color of the star layer. If I wanted to have this as a separate layer, I could just create a separate layer and have gold and blue. Gold as one layer, blue as another layer. But this is just kind of a really unique, fun tool to play around with. Okay, let's take a look at the other star image now. This one has curves, and that adds a new level of, a new degree, I guess, of advancement for this.